Welcome. In this playthrough of Solomon Kane, we continue on with Chapter 3 from Rattle of Bones with What Happened Here. So in this scenario, we can see we've got our map set up. We've got some shadows, Gaston, our main hero here, Solomon Kane. And we have Providence set in the center, along with the tiles we're looking for. So what happened here? Taking the candle with him, they go into the corridor, sensing something more ominous at play. Utter silence reigns, and the small candle twinkles and glimmers, pushing back the dark. Mine host hath neither guests nor servants, mutters Solomon Kane. Strange tavern. What is the name now? These German words come not easily to me. The cleft skull. A bloody name, I faith. They try the rooms next to theirs, but no bar rewards their search. At last they come to the room at the end of the corridor and enter. It is furnished like the rest, save the door is provided with a small barred opening and fastened from the outside with a heavy bolt secured at one end to the door jamb. There should be an outer window, but there is not, Kane mutters. Look, the floor is stained darkly and the one bunk hacked to pieces, great splinters torn away. Men have died here, says Kane somberly. So we are starting this one with 8 darkness cards. Discovery cards 202 and 206. Special rules. We've gotten some clarity, so we're moving that up to 6. Keywords and stats. So Gaston is now a seeker and a vandal, and he's going to, or we get to explore for these tokens. So what this is telling us here with our test, if we get up to a 5, we'll go for this card. 6 to 8, we go for that card, and 9 or better, we go for a different card. So my assumption is if we just get up to 5, we did not do well. Mediocre, and that's probably what we want to find. Our objective is to find a door bar. Our outcome, if we've got 2 of these tokens, we proceed to 4A. Just 1, proceed to 4B, and if something else happens, 4C. So our event cards, still haven't used them, but I like shuffling cards, so our events are freshly shuffled. Darkness. We are going to get 8 of these cards. So we'll give this a shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's our timer for this game. We finished the last game with 2 faith symbols, courtesy off to the side, dignity, and sagacity in our hands. So discovery card D202. Ransacked room. The floor is stained darkly. The walls and the one bunk are hacked in places, great splinters having been torn away. Hey, men have died here. So ongoing effect, when the last of these tokens is removed from the board, reveal D to a 9 and discard this card. So that's going to be staying in play. And 206, Gaston Lemarne. He was a different type. Gaston was of a different type entirely, bedecked with lace and plumes, although his finery was somewhat stained from travel. He was handsome in a bold way, and his restless eyes shifted from side to side, never still an instant. Never Gaston removes one of those tokens, he places it on this card instead, and this remains in play until the end of Chapter 5. So Gaston had 2 keywords on him. One was Seeker. So at the end of each virtue turn, a Seeker remove 1 area towards the nearest X, which is these tokens on the board. So it can either be a specific miniature or token, and his other was a vandal, so I'm thinking he's probably a person we're not going to be friendly with here soon. Vandals are destructive individuals who want to destroy something defined as N, and in this case, N is these tokens. At the end of each virtue turn, each vandal that has not moved this turn will remove 1 token from the area they are in. As soon as the last token is removed from an area, they take an action. Vandal may not have an action. In this case, they just remove the tokens. And of course, his action is, well, if all the tokens are removed, we have an action. He's just out vandalizing these tokens. Whereas we are exploring for these tokens. So the way this works, our base skill, I guess we'll look at some of these event cards. All right, whenever we take an explore test, we're going to get our base value, which is going to be provided by a card or something else allowing us to explore. Get to add our clarity modifier, which is currently 0. If we went up to 7, we'd get a +1. We get -1 for every shadow in our surroundings. So if that's in our space or directly adjacent to our space. And there are some bonuses, but all of these virtues are not in the solo player mode, so we're not going to get that. Then we're going to flip over a card. And depending on which ally we are, and we're always the hero, we're going to look at the right result. We can see those numbers are going to range from 1 to 7, most common being a 4. So in this case, we'd be adding 1, 2, 3, 4. See if we keep going. So those are going to range from 1 to 7. We add those modifiers together, and then we will grab these cards and see what that does for us. Now, Providence can boost our stats. We just need to put light tokens up here. So we've got +1 to our aura size. So the aura is the space she's in, and adjacent, we can make that a +1. So everything within 2 spaces of her. We can give us +1 dice if Solomon Kane is within her aura. And we also get +X to all tests, and that's going to equal how many tokens we have out here, and 1 has to be on this one. So if we have a light token there, we get +1 to tests. Light token there, tests don't get any bonus, but we get +1 dice. Here we get +2 to all tests and +3 to all tests. So I want to spread some light out there, hopefully get us some more dice. We'll give our event deck another shuffle. So some other things that can happen. If one of these ends up in our space or we move into that, we'll remove them from the board, which is good, but we're going to get a event card, which is going to be terrible. Another thing that can happen, if they go into a same spot with our virtue, they are removed from the board. Also, when that happens, she removes all of them within her aura. And then we do have some spawn points here, X, Y, and Z. So I believe we saw some of those on the darkness cards from the previous things. So we'll go ahead and see how this works with models on the board. So we do get to go first. We're going to keep those 2 results. Re-rolling this one. And put that there. We're going to use one of our wilds. Keep those. That's going to allow us to move 1 space. So 1 adjacent space will at least move into our aura here. You know what? Instead of doing that, I'm going to put some light up here to give us +1 die. It's going to end our turn. Let's see. I'll go ahead and discard that. We'll bring these in and draw 2 more. So we've got some resolve, which has a move 2 in it. And some fight. He's going to move 1 space towards one of these tokens, so we'll just move him there. Then we're dealing with one of these cards. So now we are going to skip the top part. So for things near to us, all we have in play are shadows. So this has sentry movement, scout movement, and hunter movement. Nothing happens. So we go far away. So the closest shadow moves 2 to engage us. That's going to be him. And when he engages, he's going to pop in that spot, blow himself up, and give us an event. All right, so the Creeping Shroud. We're going to move 2 light. Well, we lose that. All virtues without their miniature on the board discard an action. But we do get to place a token. That goes into our cloud, and that can be spent at any time. So we've got +1 strength, +1 clarity, or +1 compassion. I am going to go ahead and spin that because clarity is something we really need. So we'll discard the token and get +1 clarity, which gives us +1 modifier. And now we're going to spawn one of those shadows at spot X. And because of where we are on the danger, there can be at least 3 of those on the board. So this guy's popping up way over here. So back to our turn. Rolling 3 dice. Oops. We'll keep those and re-roll this one. Did I discard the one? Nope. Well, we definitely want to move. And we'll save that. Now we're going to move Providence instead. So spin those to move her to this location. Spin these to move us. He's going to move down here. And we'll get a darkness card. So we're looking for shadows. So there's none close. So then the farthest shadow moves 2 to engage, which would be that one. And nothing else talks about shadows, and nothing else is spawning. So back to our turn. Rolling 3 dice. We are going to try to be sneaky, I think. So we can flip this over. So with those, we can move 1 space. We'll move down here. And with these, we're going to explore with a 0 bonus for the base. We have a +1 for clarity. Top card is going to take us up to a 6. And with a result of 6, we grab card D204. And that is, we get +1, well, signs of a struggle. Kane examines the bloodstains and splintered bed frame. +1 clarity. +1 compassion. And we remove the token. So there goes all of our dice. Nothing for him to vandalize, so he's going to move over here. And that's going to be tough if we have to chase him all the time. All right, I like the Explore 4 there, even though it takes, well, we can lose a clarity to get that to go off. We will discard that card, bringing in some Resolve. Drawing into Interrogation. Darkness card. Let's see, Hunters. We don't have any next to us. So Scout, the closest shadow moves 2 to engage. So 1, we can move it into here or there. We'll move it to that spot. And we're getting another one at Y. So we can have 3, so it pops in here. And that triggers a shockwave. So these, along with their aura of 1, are going to be removed from the board along with Providence. The bonus to that, no events pop up. All right, so back to our turn. We have 3 dice. I think we're just going to have to concede we're not getting those. So we're going to flip that over. Do a move 1. Oops. Keep that symbol. So that turn did not go well for us. So now he's going to vandalize, putting that on his card. Grab a darkness. So down here, farthest shadow moves 2 to threaten. So that means it just wants to get adjacent to us, and that's exactly what he can do. And spawning in Y, and they can double up and stack. So back to our turn. 3 dice. That's not good when everything's the same symbol. We'll re-roll one of those. We'll keep that one. We're going to use 3 to bring Providence on the board. And all she's going to do is blow back up and get these 2 off the board. So no progress made. He's going to move up. We're keeping everything else the same. All right, so we've got nothing else on the board and nothing spawning. So for our turn, still not looking good. We need to move and explore. So we are going to move with that, keeping that symbol there. Ending our turn. He's going to get another token. We get another darkness. There's no shadows to do anything, so one is going to spawn out on X. Back to our turn. Right now I'm hoping for this thing. So we need a faith. We need an open symbol. And we can use a faith, but I'm going to see if I can roll in. Yep, that's exactly what we need. We're going to lose a clarity. And now we have an explore 4 or draw 2 of those tokens and choose one to place on the cloud. So we are exploring with a base 4, 5. So up to 9. And with a 9 up, we go to card D205. So with this one, we're going to get +1 strength. Get to place 2 tokens in the cloud. And that is going to end our scenario. That's the very thing. Kane spots a door bar affixed to the wall. So for our outcome, if we have 2 of the virtue tokens, we get to proceed to 4A. And we keep everything else we have up here. Of course, this card will be discarded. And her stats stay at that point. So no, that probably wasn't too exciting. Basically, this is a story-based game, and you're just trying to manipulate some dice into that. So we've gone over both the story modes and the scenes with the miniatures on the board, so you can definitely see how we're trying to use the virtues to influence the board, trying to keep the shadows away from us because they're going to modify our dice rolls in a negative way. So it's a pretty neat mechanic of how that works. With the auras, unfortunately, couldn't get the light working for her. And Gaston did end with 2 of those tokens on him. So that will finish Chapter 3. As always, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.